What's good, y'all? Welcome to the Gen TV podcast. As always, your boy Ease.
Yeah, A1 is all Scott.
And as always, we have a very, very special guest for you guys today. We got Jeremy Rodriguez, the author of the book A Better You, a mental wealth coach / life coach. What's going on, man? Let's start there. How you doing?
I'm doing great, bro. I'm honored to be here in your presence, to tell you the truth.
I'm glad to have you, man.
Yeah, for sure.
One of our goals on this podcast is we're definitely trying to branch out outside of our just our city.
Yeah.
So we're happy to have someone outside of our state, not just outside of our city.
For sure.
How was the drive here?
It wasn't bad. I was going about 90. I underestimated the time because I threw it in the GPS when I seen Waterbury. I'm like, you know what? It's not going to be that far. When I seen it was an hour away from me, I'm like, oh. And then I had to get gas, bro. So, yeah. But it wasn't bad.
You're from Mass, right?
I'm from Mass, yeah.
How was Mass?
It's not bad. It's one of those places where I grew up there. I'm super grateful for the experiences. However, I'm in the process of relocating. I'm building a property out in Florida.
Oh, word?
Yeah, only because there's not really too many places where you can go that promote networking.
Sure.
In Massachusetts. Not saying that they don't have those events, but when a place is small and secluded, it's very hard to find those environments if they're not in a bar or if they're not in a club. And for me, I want to be in a position where I can always give myself an opportunity to grow because I'm networking with different people in different walks of life.
Where in Florida you located to?
Tampa.
Yo, bro. I've been there twice so far this year. When I tell you, that's my go-to.
That's
place.
home.
Yo, this guy gets me, man. Yo, I've literally was just telling him I think that's where I want to end up. Tampa is such a fucking dope ass city,
bro.
It's got a bit of everything from Florida.
Exactly.
It has a bit of Miami, a bit of Orlando. It just has a little touch of everything. But it's unique. It's a unique Florida city.
Ridiculous, bro. And right now, Bill Gates just invested $2 billion in Florida. They're in the process of really, really investing in it, and it's just. The growth is so promising. And I just want to be in an environment. Because think about it. If the city that you're in is promoting growth in itself and there's people from the outside investing in it, it just goes to show the potential.
Yeah, 100%.
And I want to be a part of growth. We're trying to grow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 1,000%, bro.
Yeah, I mean, anything Bill Gates does, I'm kind of always questionable about. But I don't know, man. I heard so much shit through about that guy during COVID. He made the fucking the virus because he bought.
There's definitely a lot of speculation. However, Tampa's considered the number one city in the United States to live in right now.
So one of my boys lives out there.
Okay.
So he's been out there for I think 2 years. So that's I'll go stay with them when I go over there.
Okay.
He's been pitching that to me, man. He's like, yo, it's the number one city to live in right now.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing, man.
I still haven't been. I gotta make it there. I've never been to Florida, period.
Really?
Never. Yeah.
Man, that for me has been home. I've been telling people that I'm gonna be moving out there. I've been posting about it, and I finally connected with a builder that's gonna create the vision that I have for me and my family, and I'm excited, bro.
I mean, are you nervous about moving out of your hometown?
It's more excitement than nerves.
Okay.
Because to be honest, where I'm at in life, bro, I'm so ready to leave my comfort zone. I find myself being complacent at times. You know what I mean? When you have a system put in place, you have your way of making money, you have your family, you have these comforts and necessities. I found myself falling into that paradigm where it's I'm good.
Yeah.
And I always feel that the more my back is against the wall, the better I perform. So for me, I want to put myself in an environment where it's I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen and just double down on my strengths.
Yeah, it's funny that you said that because we've been having that conversation lately.
Oh, really?
As well, yeah.
Because the ironic part to me is I feel as humans, we strive for comfort. Right,
1,000%.
We strive to be comfortable. I don't want nothing new popping up. I just want to know exactly what's going on
for sure
at all times. But I feel that's when our growth is the most limited, and I feel that's when oddly enough, I feel that's when people go through the most mental issues. You know what I'm saying? When they're just too comfortable, you just get too complacent in this I feel that's when depression kind of starts slipping in for whatever reason. It's odd to me that you think when you're the most comfortable in life that it should be the easiest.
But think about it. There's control and comfort. When you're comfortable, you're able to control. You have control of everything around you. Not so much of everything, but your job, you're in control of your house. You're in control of your relationship. You're in control of. So you feel a little bit more comfortable and relaxed. But turning your life upside down that's an area of uncontrol.
For sure. So let me put you guys onto something, because we have 6 human needs. the first human need is certainty. That human need is like, people don't like change. People don't like resistance. People like to be able to predict their everyday life every single day.
Yeah.
Those people, they don't change partners. They don't change jobs. They don't change nothing. Because that for them, they have to be comfortable in knowing that they know what to expect every single day. Then we have uncertainty. Uncertainty are people that thrive off being spontaneous and not knowing.
Yeah.
Then we got love and significance, which are the two needs that most people practice. And then we got growth and contribution. So if you're a person that your human need is uncertainty, then you leaving the womb and you getting out of your comfort zone is going to make you feel more alive than anything. If your need is certainty, then you being comfortable and knowing what to expect day to day is what's going to make you feel the best. You know what I mean? So it's really understanding what's your human need. Bro, once you understand human needs and people, it's very easy to work with any human.
What's your human need?
My human need right now is growth and contribution.
Okay.
And uncertainty.
So
main,
you have multiple needs.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
So basically those needs are the motivators. So like my number one motivator right now is growth, right? Uncertainty is like me not knowing makes me gives me a rush. That's why I travel so much. That's why I put myself in certain predicaments and stuff like that. And then the contribution, like nothing makes me feel more fulfilled than giving back.
Sure.
But my needs before were significance, mainly significance, because I grew up in an environment where my father was very insecure. So for me, I seen him always seeking that validation, always trying to fill that void. And I grew up having to be like that, like always needed that outside approval.
Right.
I feared judgment. And it wasn't until, like I was telling you guys earlier, that I really nurtured my self-esteem that I was able to change my human need. Bro, and most people, like there's people that are willing to kill a life to gain that 15 minutes of significance.
I mean, you see that now with like these mass shootings, right? Like it's like, they essentially just do it to get the airtime. Like
For sure.
They don't even have like that crazy of a backstory that would make sense for them to do it.
For sure.
And that's like, they tell like news like stations now, stop posting them. Like that's what they want.
For sure.
Like, so yeah, I mean, that human need of significance is like,
it's wild.
Yeah.
But those people can also be practicing uncertainty. The not knowing what's going to happen after this mass shooting.
I think they know. I think
No. But believe it or not, bro, like, I don't know how much are you guys into like the whole conversating around porn and stuff like that.
Porn?
But, yeah, porn.
Yeah.
Big fan.
So I've been studying the way porn affects our mind, right? And most people that do mass shootings or most people that do any type of serial killing, the root of it is actually pornography.
Oh,
Here's why. Why. When you're watching,
I'm worried about myself right now.
No, check this out, bro. No, this shit is deep, bro. Like I'm actually doing a detox on porn right now.
Oh.
When you're watching something, it starts off basic, right? The basic shit gets you excited.
Right.
And then as you keep watching and indulging in it, shit becomes more extreme. And you start to watch shit that you normally wouldn't watch. But it's like now for you to get aroused, it takes a little bit more.
Right.
And then what happens is it gets more extreme depending on how much you engage. What happens is this. Eventually it goes from the visual to wanting to practice it in real life.
Yeah.
And then eventually what happens is that most people don't get excited until they're doing something at the most extreme level. So it goes from sexual to actually do, like, bro, there's serial killers that I've watched interviews on that they literally get turned on by taking a life.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's like the whole thing with Jeffrey Dahmer, where
correct.
He was eating, like that was his shit. Like eating people turned him on. Like that was his thing.
That's wild. And his shit started with pornography.
Damn.
Wild, bro.
Yo, do you think you could ever like give up porn for good?
1,000% no. Like keeping it real. You know what I mean? Like for me, pornography has helped me not practice my temptations, and it has helped me deal with some of my thoughts of lust.
I mean, I think porn definitely helps you stay faithful, like wildly enough.
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
But it's like, I mean, it's like a
there's
balance,
pros
right?
and cons to everything.
Right.
There's pros. I think that once it becomes a habit and you find yourself doing it without even having to think about it, where it's already like something that you do, I think at that point you just have to really be careful, because it can really lead into a hole that just there's no coming back from.
How about you? You think you give up porn?
I could say so. You had asked me this like 2 years ago. I would have probably said no, but like I don't even really like watch porn these days. Like honestly, I think like a full video, like been on a website, it's probably been like 6 months.
Really?
Yeah. Remember, but this is coming from a person that would be like multiple times a day. Like I couldn't wait to get home from school to do it, you know?
To get the porn?
What? For me, every time I would shower,
yeah,
that will be a part of my ritual, bro.
Oh.
Yeah, that'll
To
be
be
part
honest
of
with
my
you, like,
shower ritual.
It's like not even
Yeah.
nothing to think about. Like
Right.
I wash up, jerk, and get out. You know what I mean? And
Wait, you wash up first then jerk?
huh? No, like I'll be washing up, jerk.
Oh, I'm about to say, like, you got the shit backwards, man. Like, you gotta jerk then wash.
No, but I'll just wash up, jerk, and then
Alright.
afterwards, that's when I'll do the soap and
No, I
shit
thought
like
you
that.
like you finished like the shower completely.
Nah, hell
Come
no.
on, then got in bed.
I ain't walking out my shower stinking. That's a problem.
This guy's an animal, man.
Living life on
Like,
the edge over
babe.
here. You got that like jelly stuck on him and stuff.
That's mad funny.
Nah, I'm a shit jerk shower guy. That's my order. Yeah.
Bro, it's like you feel right after. You feel so relaxed,
Yo,
bro.
what do you think about the people that consider like watching porn cheating? Like, could you date a woman that told you like, yo, I can't, like, if you watch porn, like that's cheating to me. Like, I mean, essentially, like, even though you just said you couldn't probably never give it up, but like, could you date someone that like had those type of like boundaries where it's like, you know, obviously it's kind of odd, like a little rare nowadays because like most people do watch porn,
Yeah,
but
for
like
sure.
I think there's
So
still people out
accessible.
there that like they're just not into that shit. You know,
For
what I
sure.
mean?
There's so I know that there's people that are very huge into like religion that for them that's a sin.
That's what I'm saying. Like those,
Yeah.
are,
You know, me personally, I believe that to each their own. I think for you to tell a man that he can never watch pornography or you're considering that cheating, I think you're putting yourself as a woman in a predicament to fail, in my opinion.
Okay.
In my opinion, because if you really think about it, bro, and I'm not saying that this is not possible, but most people's sex life, after a while, it just takes a toll. And it's like there's
Take a toll. What do you mean?
like most people, like let's say you've been together with your partner 10, 15, 20 years. The sex life that you have with your partner in the beginning, a lot of times is not sustainable long term.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not saying that it's not possible, but based on the experiences that I've had and conversations that I've had.
It seems like, yo, it could go like one of two ways, right? Like after 20 years of having sex with the same person, right? It seems like it's either going to get real stagnant and people just don't even have sex anymore,
Mhm.
or they turn into like some complete swinger type shit. You know
Right.
what I
Yes.
mean? Like
Yeah.
it's one or the other. Like
1,000%.
yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is that like it's not sustainable to be able to have like a fire sex life after a long period of time. But there's a reason why. There's something called the law of familiarity.
Mm.
The law of familiarity is scientific. That's basically when you anticipate something, the value is high. When you get that thing, the value drops. And then when you're gonna lose that thing or you lose that thing, the value goes up again.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm trying to say? It's like for
1,000%,
like I'll
right.
give you an example, right? Like before you guys had this podcast, you know, to get the camera, the value of that camera was ridiculous. And then you got that camera, and it's like it's not that you don't appreciate it, but it's not the same excitement as before you got it.
Right.
And then let's just say after the podcast, I happen to break in and I happen to take the camera, you would realize the value of that camera because
Once
that
it's
value
gone.
is gone.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Make
for
sure-
me,
make sure to lock the door. Go ahead, I see the point.
yeah, so for me, one of the things that I try to really like sustain mentally is how can I genuinely appreciate everything that I have? Like I'm talking about everything, especially when it's something that has been with me for a long time. So there's times where I visualize myself losing my family, losing my home. Today, bro, this is so ironic that we're talking about this. Today, me and my wife were doing landscaping, and I literally was in the middle of the road, and she was like, "Is everything okay?"
Mhm.
And I'm like, I got emotional because I'm over here striving to build my next home. I'm striving to
Right.
flip this property to get another asset. And I'm like, bro, did you forget like the process that it took to really get this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Like,
So
like the moment hit you.
it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like I was just there, like, and I got mesmerized, and it was a beautiful moment that I was glad that I was able to experience before coming over here.
Nah.
Because it's just consistent with what we're talking
Yeah.
about, you know? Like
Yeah.
naturally, bro, it's easy for us to take each other for granted. It's easy for us to take our parents for granted, our kids for granted, our partners for granted, our friends for granted, everything that we're doing because of the law of familiarity. So I just try to make it a point, bro, to really just try to make sure that I not only appreciate but show my appreciation to everything that's in my life.
I think it's easy to get caught up, like you said, and just life overall, you know? And it's not even so much like you're too familiar with something, but you may just be completely distracted. I was just having a conversation with my sister about this today where like, you know, you have it near you all the time. And then like, yes, you appreciate it, but your mind may be on something completely different, you know,
For
whether
sure.
it be maybe bills or you might be losing your job, or it may be like struggles with your relationship or whatever the case is,
For
you know,
sure.
like it's easy to get like distracted and somewhat pessimistic about life in general, you know, and not
Absolutely.
really appreciate the things that you have right there. And like you said it before, like it's like the old saying, like you never miss the water till the well run dry. You know, like you never really miss something until it's completely gone out of your life.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's such a great point. You guys have you guys have lost people before in your life?
Yes and no.
Like that they were close to you, like
So
to death.
no, but no. Here's the thing, right? Like I've been very fortunate in that aspect because like I've lost like certain grandparents, but I was really young at that time.
Okay.
And there's another grandparent I lost, but we weren't that close. It didn't really hit me. So like that's what I'm saying. Fortunately, like I've really never dealt with like a close loss. You know what I mean? So like that's a good thing. But I mean, obviously, it's hard for me to relate to people that like have gone through like those closer losses.
Yeah, I was typically like that up until I had 2 like major loss. Like when I was 18, I lost like a close friend to me. He was like 16 or so. And then when I want to say like 23, my grandmother passed away.
Right.
Yeah.
So sorry for your losses. But obviously, even no matter how much time at the end of the day, a loss is a loss. So I never really understood post grieving.
What do you mean?
Where basically the death of somebody hits you after. So when my grandmother she passed away in January. And,
this year?
Yeah, this year.
Okay.
And I felt it, you know, I felt the pain. I felt the sadness. But the other day I took a ride with my wife, and I like listening to R&B. R&B puts me like in a very good state of mind. And like I thought about my grandmother, but I went into like deep thought, and bro, like I was sobbing in tears, just really thinking about like every time I would walk in her door, every time I would buy her cigarettes, every time I would play the casino with her. And it was one of those things that thought process at that moment made me realize like I want to take my relationships, bro, and truly nurture them on another level. Because like I even talking about it, like I feel such a pain knowing that I'm never gonna be able to tell my abuela bendición again, you know. And it's like I share that because it's like a lot of times we have people that we love, but it's like we don't take the way we love them and practice it enough. And I want to advocate that because I've traveled and I've been able to do a lot of things in life. But what I'm realizing more and more as I'm getting older is that it's truly about the people that are in your life that matter more than any experience.
Yeah.
And I just want to any platform I have, I just want to share that. You know what I mean?
Yo, the thing is, it's so easy to like just out of sight, out of mind. You know what I mean? Or like, yo, even if they're right there in front of you, it's so easy to not appreciate them because, yo, I think like one of the hardest things about life is like, you know, obviously you got your family and friends around you that matter, you know, to you. But like at the end of the day, most people are selfish to a degree, right? And like your goals are a number one priority to you, or most people, right? Especially if you're an ambitious person,
for sure.
Which I think everyone in this room is.
For sure.
So it's like, yo, obviously your ambitions or goals are like our number one priority. And when you're chasing them, like that process is hard. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure you go through it all the time, right? Traveling, networking, like this shit does not happen overnight. It doesn't happen over a year. Like it's a fucking process. Yo, so like throughout that like process of like achieving your goals, right? Like it's so easy to forget people. Cause yo, I'll go times where it's like, I'm like on this mission of mine, right? And I'm like, damn, I haven't talked to one like I'll think of a friend. I'm like, bro, I haven't talked to that guy in like fucking 4 months.
Yeah.
Like, how did that even happen? Like that's like one of my good friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then it's just like then you like reach out to them, but like then it happens. It's hard. Like just keep steady with that, like, you know, like and stay like that go with your relationships, you know.
For sure.
It
is.
Yeah, it's funny that you said that because I actually just heard a story recently. Like it's a quick story. So like I guess it was like this guy was at work, right? And he was like he's typically happy and jolly. His coworker asked him like what's wrong with you? Why do you look so sad? He was like, no, man, nothing much, man. I just been arguing with my wife. And then he was like, well, how about you why don't you call your wife and tell her? Why don't you call your wife and like, you know, make things amend? And the guy was like, I'll just tell her that when I get home. And he was like, who told you that? He was like, what do you mean who told me that? He was like, who told you you're gonna make it home to like talk to your wife, you know? And it's in the way that they said that, it was like, damn,
that's some deep shit.
Yeah, that is super deep.
Yeah, it was like, damn, like, you know, like we always think that we're gonna have another opportunity to tell the person that we love we love them, you know, or like to appreciate a friend or to appreciate somebody close to us. And that's why, you know, they try to propose that we do it in a moment, you know.
Like I'm about to end the podcast now, man. I got some like conversations I gotta have with people right now. You know? Like, that's some damn. That would have fucked me up if somebody said that shit to me
So I got 3 points to share off of this conversation that I think will help your audience.
Okay.
My first one is, if who you're sacrificing for becomes a sacrifice, are the sacrifices worth it? Because a lot of times we're sacrificing in order for us to strive, and in order for us to achieve, we're sacrificing, right? But if who you're sacrificing for becomes a sacrifice, are the sacrifices worth it? Because imagine you being that person that ends up having it all. You look back to give it to those people that mattered the most, and they're no longer there, or there's just a huge disconnect that you can't recuperate. That's point number one. That's something that I'm very, very, very big on, because during this journey I had lost sight on what's important, and I almost lost everything trying to gain everything to give my family everything. You know,
before you go on to point number 2, I have a question about that one though. Like, what if, like, how do you know when it's time to like not sacrifice somebody or sacrifice the things that you love? Like, what if you are working towards goal number 1, right?
Right.
But your family, friends, or whatever it is, maybe you feel like they're holding you back. How do you know how to differentiate? Like, okay, like I have to give my family and friends the attention because this is what's most important, or these people are holding me back from achieving this goal.
For sure. Well, I don't
know if I answered that question.
No. Yeah. Well, the simple answer is, if the people that you're sacrificing for are not horsepower, they're dead weight.
Okay.
So, like, for example, let's just say if I had a wife that me and her were just, the vibe was whack. Let's just say she was holding me back. She was stopping me from achieving. She was jealous of my growth. If I had that type of person, I have to be consciously aware enough to be able to say, you know what? Either you grow or the disconnect has to happen. Because I believe the most important relationship that you're gonna have ever is the one with yourself. You understand what I'm trying to say? With your children, you could teach them how to be like you, how to be towards you. When it comes to other people, they have their own way of thinking. So for me, I believe in giving people an ultimatum. Hey, listen, like, if this is how you're going to be, unfortunately, this energy doesn't serve me, because I'm already putting you in my thought process consistently to the point where I'm willing to give a little bit up of this to make sure that I still have this. However, if while I'm working towards this, you're bringing me this way and not that way, I have to make a decision, especially when it comes to friends. So I have this thing, bro, when it comes to friendships, and this is actually point number 3 that's going to answer this question. I do an assessment of the people that I've affiliated with throughout the month. And I ask myself these questions. What's the role that they're playing in my life? What's the role that I'm playing in their life?
Yeah.
What value are they adding? What value are they taking away? What's the return on the investment every time we engage? When I ask myself those questions, it allows me to understand, okay, you know what? For this season in my life, this person makes sense. For this season, this person doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I'm no longer, when it comes to my relationships outside of my household, is no longer a death sentence to me. Before, I would be big on loyalty, no new friends, and that whack corrupted mentality.
That hood shit.
That hood shit. Yeah. That in reality, I found myself like handicapping my potential because of my ignorant program. And it wasn't until I realized, you know what? Like, what do you want for this season of your life, bro? Is if you want fun, you get the personalities that are going to support that fun. If you want growth, you get the people, the energy that's going to promote your growth. And I do that every 30 days. And I look at the people that I'm affiliating with and I ask myself, does it make sense for me to invest in this relationship?
Right.
Because, bro, relationships, it takes time. You gotta nurture them. So if it's not, I found myself giving titles to people that weren't playing the role.
And I think that's a problem with most people.
Bro, what?
Yeah.
And so now I'm actually, because I know I no longer lack significance, and my new needs are growth and contribution. Yeah. I can look at a human with no emotion and say, this person absolutely makes sense to me, or he doesn't make sense to me.
Well, there was a saying that I heard, not to cut you off, my bad, but like there was a saying I heard when I was really young that like a lot of times people come into our lives and they're supposed to be leaves, and which leaves obviously stay around for a season,
right?
But we end up trying to make them branches. And
for sure.
The problem is that, you know, you're trying to turn a leaf into a branch and try to keep them around to stick around, but they're not supposed to stick around, you know? And
right.
I feel like, honestly, I've had that issue where like I try to hold on to people, like you said, loyalty, you know, like, right. Yo, like you do, like, as long as you're one of my boys, I'm always going to stay by your side, you know, like I'm even to my own detriment, like I'm going to, like, I will feel before I allow you to feel, you feel me?
Kind of a recent situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like where not to get too deep into it or put the business out there, but like he was in a situation where a good friend of him, like could have put him in a real bad predicament. But it's like, I was gonna ask you, it's like, yo, are there chances? Like, do you give people chances? Is it like a one strike rule? Because it's like, when you're trying to like assess, like if these friends, you know, every month, like are they serving you a purpose or a role, right? Like, does everything have to be about progression? Like, can we just be cool? Like, as long as like if I'm hanging out with you, right? But like you're not really ambitious. You don't have, like, you're just really fine with your life. But it's like it's a good time. Like you're not bringing me down, but you're not bringing me up. It's like you're a neutral person.
Right.
Like, how do you feel about people like that in your
Yeah,
life?
so for me personally, bro, as long as, because we all need a social life, we all need company, right? So as long as, like, I'm cool with us just being company and being cool and talking our talk. It doesn't always have to be deep.
Right.
It doesn't always have to be fun, right? Because at the end of the day, it's not like oh, you have to meet this criteria in order for you to be in this season. However, you also can be taking away from where I'm going.
Yeah, so I'm saying, so as long as like it's like you're fine with neutral people in a sense.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely. So like my biggest thing is this, right? Like, as long as you're open-minded and you're open to constructive criticism, like, and you're my peoples, like, you'll be my peoples. Because if you're open-minded, that means that you're allowing yourself to be able to learn, right?
Yeah.
You don't have a closed mind. If you're open to constructive criticism, that means that I could be like, yo, bro, like, not for nothing, but you told me 3 weeks in a row that you were gonna hit the gym and you haven't.
Right.
And if you get offended by me holding you accountable, then I know that I have to disconnect, because that means that growth is not in your near future.
I like how you went to the fat guy and told him that.
The irony, right? Because, bro, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I believe accountability is the purest form of love.
1000%, bro. I feel like too often we're afraid of hurting our friends' feelings, and we're not really holding them accountable. You know, like, yeah, how could you really consider yourself a friend if you can't hold them accountable?
For sure. That's a big reason why me and my friend are so close. Because, for example, we were in Jamaica together, right? Our families were together, and we had a little discrepancy that in reality could have turned sideways for most people.
Oh,
Like, I'm talking about, it could have turned sideways, right? And we ended up
talk about it. Or
yeah. So basically, I'm very stern with how I speak. We were eating and stuff like that. I was okay with being in the moment. Like, I was like, wow, my family's here. We just ate. We're chilling. He wanted to go about the day. Like, he just wanted to do something. He has a lot of energy. So I'm like, yo, bro, I'm good right here. But his daughter and his wife, their body language, they were tired.
Right.
So the whole time I thought that he was bothered with them. So when I seen his energy shifted, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna let the family do the family thing. And I ended up removing myself, and I just stood with my family. So the very next day, we had bumped into each other at the pool, and I'm like, yo, bro, is everything okay? I feel like your energy shifted. And he was like, yeah, bro, I feel like, you know, the way you spoke to me, the tone, like, I don't know why you spoke to me like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you felt disrespected.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, bro, so you're telling me that I caused your shift in energy? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, bro, my bad. Like, I'm sorry, you know. And not only that I told him I'm sorry, but I told him I'm gonna give you the green light, because I know that lately it's been like that, where I've been kind of like very stern. What I want you to do is, you got the green light as my friend to check me. If you think that I'm out of pocket, I need you to check me. He's like, yeah, but I don't like, a lot of times I check people, it would go sideways and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, because if you love me, you're gonna help me. And if I'm telling you that I need you to check me every time I'm out of pocket, don't think that emotions are gonna come out of that, because I know that you're showing me that you love me.
That's some mature shit.
Yeah.
Yo, do you think we got that?
I was thinking about it.
I'm like sincerely asking, can we check each other?
I think so.
I want to say yes.
I would like to say yes, but I think our personalities, there will be a clash.
But
it depends. I think it really depends on, like, how it's presented, like how the check happens.
For sure.
You know, like,
for sure.
Like, but the thing is, like you said,
the approach
it's funny
is
that you
huge.
said it, because we're both blunt, right? So, like, we both say, like, what's
like,
on
bro,
our mind and how we.
Like, nigga, you tripping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What you mean I'm tripping? Like,
Right.
You know, so, like,
For sure.
it really depends on. Honestly, it really depends on the moment. You know, like, I feel like for it to be successful between me and you, like, us checking each other, one of us will definitely have to, like, walk with our tail between our legs for the moment, and then, like, readdress it at another time. You know.
Yeah. For me personally, it's like, if you're my guy, like, nobody's gonna have your back more than me.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I'm telling you something, maybe the approach I should be mindful of. But if I'm telling you something, what I'm able to do, and this is a discipline that I've been practicing, bro. Like, I'm able to listen to the words and take out the emotion in the approach. Because if you just take the words for what they are,
Facts over feelings.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Because at the end of the day, bro, like, and when I told him that, he was like, man, like, this is the reason why I love you so much, because I've never had a friend that I can be real with and tell them when they're wrong,
Right.
and they not get offended. And I'm like, most people that get offended are insecure about themselves. They lack self-esteem. So anytime they're gonna get the mirror put in front of them, they're gonna get offended. For me personally, it's like, I tell everybody this. I rather a criticism than a compliment. Here's why. A compliment is going to feed my ego. It's going to make me feel good at the moment. A criticism can help me short term and long term.
But that's what we tell people all the time. Like, especially when we were starting this podcast, a lot of times people will come to us and be like, "Oh, I love your stuff. I love everything you do." And we're like looking like, no, tell us something that's wrong.
For sure.
You know?
Yo, because like we know, like, because it's like the views don't match. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You guys are telling us all this shit, but like, all right, like we'd be seeing the results that we're wanting, and like you guys are just kind of like, you know, blowing smoke up our asses, and it's like, yo, keep it real with us. But it's like, unfortunately, like it's kind of tough. Yo, we've only had a few people have like really kept it honest with us.
Yeah. Kept the constructive criticism.
Yo, but maybe we're giving off a vibe where like, yo, they feel like we can't take it, or we're not gonna be, you know, like really receptive.
I mean, but think about it. Like, most people can't take it. Like, you know, you tell somebody that what they're doing is wrong, or what their passion is, or the way that they're following their passion is wrong, and most people take offense to that. Like,
1,000%.
who are you to tell me what to do? You know, you haven't walked in my shoes. Like, you haven't seen the struggles I had to go through. So you coming in telling me what I got to do right now, like, they take it as you're not like experienced enough to tell me. You feel me? So like, not too often will most people, or well, not too often would people be like, okay, like, let me take a step back. There must be some truth to this, you know? And that's why, like, I try to, like, it's crazy because I'm not the type of person to get offended easily, but I am on high alert for like disrespect.
Of course.
So I feel like that's why, like, you know, going back to like, you know, the conversation that we were having earlier, like how would we both react to it? It's because, like, you know, growing up, like the way how life have taken me, it's like I've had them in a high alert for like and try to check people immediately, so that way like it would never happen again, you know. So I feel like in some points that's caused me to, like, you know, overreact. Step on some toes, and overreact in a sense, you know.
How many close friends do you have?
Right now I would say close. I want to say like around 10.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, like around 10. Yeah. But it's not like a everyday thing. It's not like we chill on the weekends. It's more like those are my dogs, and I know that at any point that I need them, I can count on them, and at any point they need me, I like they could count on me as well.
All right, cool. We're just interrupting today's episode to thank our sponsor, Nicest Beard Oil. I know y'all been looking at my beard lately and be like, yo, where's the patches? Well, guys, this is my secret. I've been using this for the last couple of months, and boy, does it work. Obviously, you guys see the results. I'm looking amazing. And if you want to get your beard looking full, looking just shining, use this. You can find it at doseofhoney.com, but make sure you order it quickly because this does sell out. Like I said, Nicest Beard Oil. Tap in.